Hello everybody, and welcome to another bi-weekly episode of Via the Void, a Warframe podcast by us at MAAD Realms. Just check out maadrealms.com, 2 A's in the MAAD. We also do Guild Wars 2 stuff, and some of the other people here, we do like a kind of debate show, and more to come hopefully. But yeah, we're here tonight to talk about Warframe and all the stuff that happened in the last 2 weeks. And with me, as always, is my good friend Age. Say hello, Age.
Hello.
All right. Well, simple enough. Let us jump right into it. So first off, let's talk about the update that came out. It was the Wukong Deluxe update 25.5.0. And first off, as the name says, we got the Wukong Deluxe skin that they've been showing off for a little bit. And I'm sure I'm going to butcher the name, but it's the Wukong Samadhi skin and helmet. And you can also see there, if you get the bundle, you actually get the skin and helmet, but also the Meteor Whip skin. Along with, and you can see on the back of them, the Subudi Sayandana, which it definitely has a kind of Monkey King vibe type thing from that. Like, I've seen other games utilize it, and it's like I think it's a Japanese folklore or
Chinese folklore.
Chinese? Okay, I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah.
But also do note the collection and the solo skin also include the Wukong Samadhi Iron Staff skin that can only be applied to Wukong's Iron Staff, which is kind of cool. It's a unique skin for their specialty weapon. It'd be like if Excalibur got one for their energy sword, or I don't think any other skins have done that. If I can't think of any.
Revolvers, maybe.
Did they? Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know the revolvers I think kind of come with her have gotten skins, but they're just plain secondaries. But I could be wrong if someone knows in chat. But so yeah, you can definitely pick that up, like I said, in a bundle or kind of piecemealed out. Now, remember, since these are cosmetics, it's a straight platinum cost. But in the game you can trade platinum between players, so you can, I guess, technically get it for free, or as some people like to say, someone else pays for your bill. But did you get the Wukong Prime when it came out, or did you farm it?
I didn't get it yet.
Oh,
Still
okay.
waiting.
I'm a scrub. I'm going for the regular Wukong. I still got to get a couple plastoids, I think. But I'm probably definitely going to pick up this skin.
Skin looks pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really cool. But especially with that new Wukong rework update, so that we talked about 2 weeks ago, I think last episode. But some other nice little things. Added Rhino's ability videos to his arsenal diorama. So when you look at abilities, I know I think did this before TennoCon. They started trying to roll out and change out. If you highlight over abilities, it actually plays a little video of the different abilities, and they're slowly trying to work on all the past ones. And they, with this last update, did Rhino's abilities as well.
Seems good. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely nice. Another little update. They like a nice little quality of life, which I definitely enjoy, because half time I don't know. I'm sure this would play to other people that have a lot more ribbons than I do, but with the update they add the ability for when you have a ribbon, they show you the weapons that you have that it will fit into, without having to flip flop between the arsenal to check, which I know, like, because I think I have the regular 10 ribbon cap or something like that. Between that, I'm already like annoyed with it. I couldn't imagine. I think you can get up to like 90 if you pay for them and stuff. So I can't imagine the people that are dealing with those.
Okay.
But yeah, it just kind of lets you show that, because for people that don't know, Rivens, think of them as their design was to kind of balance out guns, like weapons that weren't used as much versus the ones that are just like destroying everything. Though it kind of seems like it can take any weapon to the next level, because it, even if it has, the more popular used weapons are rated lower, so they won't benefit as much from a Riven, but they will still benefit pretty well than most mods that you will get around. Because a lot of times you'll get like ones that have multiple stats in it that a mod normally can't do as well. So it's kind of like the end game mods to usually people will go after. But yeah, I think that's a nice quality of life update. Another nice quality of life update that has been put in is the color picker changes for your Warframes. I have the little video of it right here. It's showing off. First off, you can see at the very beginning they made the palettes, the different ones that you can unlock, 2 columns, so you can kind of see more of them without having to scroll all the way through. But they've added a kind of favorite option that you can kind of move around. But they did say that there is a slight bug. Any legacy colors, so any colors that you have set prior to the update, you cannot save them as favorites. They said this was a fix to a bug that would prevent any and all customization saving. So you're gonna have to take that hit the first time, but you know, I think a nice quality of life update like this, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's only once, it's fine.
Yeah, especially going forward. Like, it's not like the first time on every Warframe. It's just from this point on, whatever frames you have and dies set out, you're gonna have to make that hit the one time if you want to favorite them like that through that system. But also a nice little quality of life update. When you maybe get a new Warframe, do you kind of initially like hit the random thing to just figure out like, oh, what can this frame look like?
No.
Like it'll randomly set you the dies? No? No, I do that to kind of see how all the different colors look on it. Well,
okay.
Unfortunately, prior to the update, it would only pick from, it would basically pick one of the palettes you had and then pick the dies from that one palette. Now what it does is it will randomly pick from all the dies. So all the palettes, all the dies, so you can get different ones from different. So
that's cool.
Yeah, really opens up the color options, which I have definitely been having fun with that. Especially on my lesser Warframes where I'm just like, I just want it to look different, so I just start hitting random until I see something. Or I hit random and I see something and I hit it again. I go, no, I can't go back.
Yeah. Ah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I said, this came out with a lot of, like I said, a couple good quality of life updates for the players. But
seems good.
Yeah, so like I said, go pick up the Wukong Deluxe skin if you are so inclined to get it. Maybe you're now the Wukong main. I've seen a lot of people doing, if you look on Reddit and like look at when this update came out, to see the different colors or the different makeups. Like I saw a lot of different variations of Vegeta because of that hair that kind of shoots up, in case you have to see it.
Yeah, that's true.
There we go. That hair that kind of sticks up. A lot of people are going with like Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, or the different variations of Dragon Ball, I guess. I've seen a lot of, I don't know the villain, but from the first Incredibles movie, the guy with the red hair that's like, I've seen that one. That like, I've seen a couple more. I can't think of their names right now, but like, love the community for just running with all the memes. But yeah, definitely check those out if you want to. And like I said, nice quality of life updates added. Also, we have wasn't this past week, I think it was the week before. Yeah, because literally right after our show went up on YouTube, I basically got told by the devs that I am wrong. I mean, granted, they didn't. That'd be great if they said, "Hey, yeah, Via the Void, you were wrong." But no, they were just generally clearing up some things. But that was during the dev stream 129. So first off, they had some news talking about a weekend event, which we will talk about later. That was not slated for last weekend, but this past weekend that we just had, and is leading up till the 12th. But so you have plenty of time. Don't worry, or you can log in while you're listening or watching and play it as long as it's before the 12th. But they are looking at performance improvements coming soon for the Switch, including the lighting updates that PC players have seen. Updates for other console 10.0 are going into cert this week. So, that last week. So it probably should have came out by now, I would imagine, or very close to. I don't fully we're going to probably predominantly be PC based here because I think that's what we play normally, but we'll try to help the console people. But they also showed off some skins. We talked about it at they showed off at TennoCon the Hero Deluxe skin that they were working on, and at the very beginning they showed that it will come with a staff skin on top of that, and you can see that here in their little video from the dev stream. But once again, and apparently they were even talking about there's a lore behind this skin from the person the person was working on it. Is I guess he gave up more of his physical form to be more energy, and that's why it seems like more like his arms are all energy and stuff like that. But yeah, I can't wait to try that, see that skin in game. It looks amazing.
Yeah. It's just, it's like the Elementalist.
Yeah, as I say, it's kind of like an arcane robe type feel going on.
It's pretty cool.
I guess since it's now space-like, it kind of reminds me a little bit, because now that they're saying it's like energy, and all I can think of with that like dome of energy for the head type thing, I can only think of the Destiny. What's the Destiny one? It's It's Hunter.
The wizard?
Is it called a wizard? I wasn't sure the name of it.
No, I don't think so.
Something like that. It's the casty one. Warlock. That's it. But it gives me a little bit of Warlock vibes, at least from the pictures. I'd love to see it in game and just see how it flows better. But also they showed off a little bit of these Zephyr. Where? Oh, I turned it off. There we go. The Zephyr Deluxe skin that they're working on, and it was just a still image. So, but yeah, looks. I think I just crafted regular Zephyr, so I'll have to play around with it. I've never been much of a Zephyr. Thank you, Chad. It was Hunter, Titan, and Warlock. So yeah, I felt like the Hero Deluxe skin kind of reminded me of a Warlock a bit. But yeah, Zephyr skin. Like I said, for me right now, since I just picked up the Zephyr, I'm not really in the market for a deluxe or like a skin or anything like that, but it does look nice. Also, they said that there will be Volt cloth physics coming soon. They were showing it off on the Prime version, where you could just see how it was like how it laid actually looked nice, like actual physics of cloth. If you have Equinox's armor pieces, how it lays like that, it kind of started applying that, it looks like, to the other frames.
Okay.
Are you talking about the helm for Harrow? Looks like one of the Warlock skins. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, because it was like a dome of like electricity, like energy. Or are you talking about the Zephyr? Because that I do not know. But also, this is where I was grossly wrong with my random theory. of you were talking 2 weeks ago about the Duviri paradox, that where it showed there was a operator in the void, and then we saw an older operator, and I was like, oh, maybe this is the split off of how the Tenno were formed, and these were the adults that went to another dimension. No, everybody else was right. They clearly said the older Tenno is the Duviri paradox of your operator. They were clarifying it wasn't Hayden Tenno, which was the character's name in Dark Sector, the original game that they first made. That it looks a lot like, but they kind of explained that it was definitely meant to be your operator, just aged. So my theory in it was like the adults getting separated type thing, and that's merging back in the void, is apparently wrong. Or they're just not revealing the story yet. No. I don't know how tricky they are. But they also showed some more stuff from the Duviri Paradox trailer. We have the Robodax, as they're liking to call it. We have it right here. As you can see, they will have various states of decay. And also they're showing its weapon off, the Nakana, which they said will be acquirable. And also they just showed off the Robo Horse. But yeah, look at that Nakana. I can't wait to get my hands on that. It looks so nice. I wonder if it's going to be a separate, I guess it's going to be a separate weapon and not just a skin. So I wonder if we are getting mounts, since, well, more mounts of like I want a Robo Horse.
Who doesn't want a Robo Horse?
Exactly. But yeah, So yeah, some clarification for the Duviri paradox of last, like I said, for me last week or last episode, I was wrong in my theory, but once again, it was just a theory, and I am still trying to get a grasp of the lore myself. So please be kind to me, Warframe community, and don't rip me a totally new one, just a little bit. But they also talked quickly about some of the reworks that they're working on. They said Scott is looking at the Vauban next for reworking, but they did say nothing solid yet. And they also said a lot of work remains with Melee 3.0. Some stuff is ready for testing, but it's a big thing. It's in progress, and that's all they kind of said. But
yeah, Vauban. I heard a friend of mine said Vauban felt kind of off.
A lot of people were like hoping it is a character built around how Warframe used to be, and a lot of like defending or keeping things in one area or slowing them down, which a lot of people were like, I kind of want them to, I saw a lot of people saying I kind of want them to bring back the raid like content, because apparently I guess people were saying Vauban actually shined in that. So I guess that was a lot of just controlling people and mechanics like that, but yeah, I think that was one of their goals that they talked about in the past, was they were trying to update it more towards how the gameplay is now.
Okay. Interesting. So how do you think they'll change Vauban if they don't put in content that allows Vauban to shine? Would they just let them? Would they, I guess, decrease the cooldown, but have more area of control, like more concentrated area of control instead? Maybe.
Well, I think it might focus on like damage and maybe some of the I forget. I know they were talking about the Vauban rework. Might have even been before TennoCon, but I think some of the stuff was looking at like, no, chat saying Vauban was a boss in LOR, which I'm not up on my acronyms with was that one of the, well, I guess they were Dark Sectors, which was their raids. But,
Law of Retribution.
Okay. But Oh yeah. But yeah, I think what their goal is to kind of make it work. I think some of its control be more like Frost and stuff. Like it will have its places again, whereas now it's kind of just lost lost the times.
Mm-hmm.
But and I am looking forward to a fully fleshed out Melee 3.0, but happy to wait until it's fully tested. They really haven't talked more about it. Like I said, all they really said was more of it's ready to test.
Yeah.
They also said some of the updates that they're trying to work on is Capture now has its own button from the arsenal, so you don't have to kind of go into the. And I don't think these are implemented yet. They're just things that they're going to be working on. But now you won't have to go into like the skin section and then the appearance section and then go into it. Though one of the other things, which I know it's kind of fitting that someone with a username of ArenaNet came in. Not a dev, in case someone's only listening, but or at least I don't know, but it'd be an interesting name for a dev. But they did talk about basically build templates.
Oh, nice.
They showed off a fun little video. Well, I guess they're going to be called loadout templates, but the first part that they were showing off, as they were calling it, look link, where you can actually link your die job across all things, and then if someone does it, as you're seeing here, they can apply the look to their character. But it even says at the very end, it's also going to add mod link. Like they just threw that in there, which mod link is pretty much, load out templates.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm happy. I think that's going to be fun, linking not only your look, especially because I mean, one of the big things for one of the subreddits is like the fashion frame, or fashion frame. I think it's like Warframe runway or something like that. So I bet that's perfect for this. All the different build websites, ModLink will probably make it 10 times easier. Now I know a lot of people had concerns, like, is it gonna be able to recognize like is it always gonna put like mod 1 in the top slot, mod 2 in the top slot, or if certain things are
because of
polarized differently, is it gonna try to intelligently place them?
That'd be a nice.
Or it would be nice, or at least have them like slapped in there going, it's at negative energy and won't let you leave until you mix them around. That way you could switch them yourself, because I don't know how I don't know the coding, how much work it would be to try to figure out to perfectly match everything. But
It would kind of be like just you start with the highest, check the highest rated mod, check its symbol, check against the symbol inside your weapon. If there's a match, place it, and I'd be redoing that for every symbol that you have.
But then wouldn't it have to go back, like say if you have a couple of Y polarities or something, but one of the higher Y polarities you want modded so you have more energy, but it puts one of the lesser Y polarities in there because it's I don't know, I'm just trying to think of things that would probably be an issue. So
because to me the best way to do it would be check the large the biggest the one that would consume the most room in terms of the value, and then just see if you could slot it in a polarity slot, and then continue down that line from high to low, and then that would give you the max amount of room. I see your point.
Yeah, hopefully it'll give you the max amount because there'll be that chance
Hopefully.
of.
Yeah.
I
But
mean, I
then
know I
like
have like
it'll
some mods
obviously
that are
hit a
like
limit,
15.
and then from there you'd have to slot yourself, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know how they're gonna deal with that. They didn't really talk about that, but I mean, anything even remotely moving towards that, I think, is an awesome quality of life step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Also, during the dev stream, something that I know a lot of people asked when the item came out, I think we talked about last week, was that Shazin, that little instrument decoration.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, if you do own it, you
Play it.
will. Yes,
Play
you
it,
will
yeah.
be able to play it. Where's the? It was a little screen of them playing it, but.
I'm saying.
So basically, you just sit with it and you can hit the different notes and.
It's dope. I like that. I'm gonna get it now.
Yeah, basically, when you buy it, it will come with an emote to play it. So.
It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely a nice little fun thing that they've had, like quality of life and little fun things while we all wait for Empyrean. But yeah, this past dev stream, they also wanted to show off Gauss, who is going to be the speedster frame, which here's them showing off some of the abilities. But they did want to say Gauss and Volt should complement each other, because I know a lot of people, and I remember them saying in chat that like they were like, oh, here comes the rip Volt chat, or coming up. But yeah, the abilities that you're going to be seeing here, the passive moving increases gauge increases shield recharge rate. The abilities, which I think is the one you're seeing right here, is Mac Rush. So tap to warp forward quickly, hold to run, and it has a lot of momentum. And as you're seeing here, when you run into things, it creates an explosion. So you are actually incentivized, if you're going at this speed, to run into things, because they were even saying while they're showing it in an open world, if you're running in a corridor, you are actually supposed to be bumping and running into things, which sounds perfect for me. Like, that was my one thing. I was like, oh god, I'm gonna have to actually like be able to like navigate quickly, but
physics dictates otherwise, but I guess Warframe found a way around that, so that's cool.
Oh well, I mean, you're saying rip Volt, rip Frost, and rip Ember. I don't know. I mean, the second skill is kinetic plating, which protects against you were seeing a little bit ago, protects against physical, cold, and heat damage, drains from your gauge, and gives you energy. It will cause a slash proc when you hit an enemy with Mac Rush while you have the kinetic plating. So it's a nice little, shield thing. But as you were also seeing a little bit earlier, was the thermal Sunder. So you can tap it for a cold AoE or hold it for a heat AoE. But the nice thing is, with the cold and hot, and they said a lot of people have been requesting this type of feature, it kind of feels like Guild Wars 2 a little bit, but I guess in a frame itself. If you lay down the cold and lay down the heat one, it creates a blast proc. So you can actually proc these things off of each other.
Nice.
Yeah.
Combo field. I dig it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you tapping twice, cold causes a freeze. Tapping twice with heat causes an improved heat damage over time. And last but not least, the red line, which you were kind of seeing there, when everything kind of got that kind of red filter on it. Your speed improves, which means your movement, reload, and fire rate, and along with your damage. It has a big buff ability. It's basically a big buff ability for Gauss. Creates an AoE seeking projectiles, kind of similar to Valkyrie 4's, in that you have to disable it at the right time. Deactivating also creates an AoE seeking projectile. So, but yeah, basically it uses that side gauge thing that for speed. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, I guess the Rip Frost thing for the dome thing, but eh. Well, I thought they were also saying cold was you did cold when, or I guess they were doing it when there was no enemies around was what they were talking about, because they were saying that it worked slightly different when there wasn't enemies, but when there were, because the idea is you can actually exude heat or pull in heat from other enemies, which creates that cold. That's kind of the story behind it.
Okay. Hmm.
But yeah, what are your thoughts of Gauss now that you get to see the skills in play? And they did say, of course, that there will be balance passes. They're just kind of showing off the looks of the skills. And
I would mostly play this on open maps because, like, super fast. I guess it would work out if you bump into things during missions, but I mean,
that's what you're supposed to do. All the blasting off of them when you're running into
yeah,
walls.
yeah. I don't know. I do like him and probably get it, but I am interested to see how many use them in terms of the bumping into walls, or is it worth it type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think it's a solid character. It's pretty interesting. I really like the speed that you can go.
And it
Just
is important to note, you're just seeing it now, but with Mac Rush, the first skill, you can't run across water. So, as long as you're in that skill, like if you
mhm.
undo it, then you're gonna slide right into the water.
Well,
But yeah, I like the idea of it, but for me, and I'm kind of glad they did now. They did say that while the release date is unknown, their plan is to release Gauss and Grendel at the same time, which Grendel is kind of the chunkier frame that's supposed to supposedly eat enemies to get buffs and whatnot from them.
mhm.
But I think I might pick up Grendel first. I mean, once I see this, when they give it a showcase of its abilities and whatnot, which hopefully might be the next dev stream, though we don't 100% know, but it would be nice. Um, Also, during the one dev stream 129, they did just want to have they just had some Empyrean questions that they wanted to address. A lot of people were asking when. They are hoping for the fall, but they did want to stress nothing is set in stone. They said they will probably launch with a few planets and deep space. Yeah, like Chad's saying, the next dev stream is the 16th, but granted, right now we don't know what is actually going to be talked about. They did say they were going to talk about that next. They were going to release what they were going to talk about next Wednesday.
Imperium.
That would be nice. Though they did stress, and I know a lot of people. I've known a lot of people maybe trying out Warframe from other games and stuff like that. They did say with the new player experience with Empyrean, they did say new players joining with Empyrean will probably need to hitch a ride. So it does sound like it is a bit of a maybe medium, middle to late end game type thing of you're just not going to day one get the ship and ability to fly around from the sounds of it. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. And one thing that I'm sure you're excited to hear is the NPC crew that they were talking about. They said the current plan is for them to hide when you're being boarded, but that they are saying that is up for debate. That might change later on. But you have crew slots and they have factions. You hire and fire them. They have specializations which affect your railjack, kind of like FTL crew-like opportunities.
Nice. That's
Or they were saying Mass Effect, but not one-off story-based characters.
which is fine. I
Yeah,
I didn't expect that to that extent, but just like interesting crew members, with the average banter would be nice, I guess. That's what I'm looking for. So
Yeah, I can't wait to, like I said, I can't wait for Railjack, which it's kind of interesting. We were talking a little bit earlier about Vauban and kind of their raids, or what they call dark sectors. People were asked about dark sectors and solar rails, uh, which they said, while it's not on the top of the pile of things to work on right now, there are connections they want to make. They said Empyrean probably serves as the groundwork for these. So yeah, imagine like if it is like a raid on something, like if it's like a raid on like some kind of like Grenier giant space station, hypothetically, like what if you had to fly into it, like like dodge everything and get to like the docking place and then actually do the raid or something along those lines.
yikes. I
Especially
mean, it can be fun,
because
but yikes.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that, from the sounds of it, isn't anywhere near. That's not going to be the fall release, if at all, or if at anytime soon. So another question that came up, people asked if they could build the dry dock before Empyrean, and we're asking what is going to be the cost. They said that they are trying to work on allowing people to build the dry dock prior to Empyrean release, but right at this current time, they have no idea how likely that will be to get out there prior, and also they're not sure what the cost will be. Another thing that people were asking were they were noticing will the Kubelich be Grenier only, or will it have the Corpus too? And at this current time, the Grenier will be the first, and then there will be versions of Corpus and the other factions later on. So that'll add some variety to it. Because I think we were talking about last time, it feels like a Nemesis type system because it's learning from your character and.
Yeah. Not sure how. I'm not kind of sold on the Nemesis system just yet. I understand what it's supposed to be, but like, I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll see how it goes.
I think it's just a nice way to make make a fight more challenging each time.
Yeah,
It's gonna learn a skill from you.
Yeah,
hopefully it's the crappy ones. Won't that be great if they? I wonder if that'll go across the board, because if it learns a skill from you, what if eventually you see like a patch note where it's like, we're nerfing this ability for this frame, and you're like, yes, I can finally beat my Kuvelich again. But
I don't know what skills either.
Yeah, I don't know. But they also talked about arc wings, and people were asking about, since they announced at TennoCon that it was going to be more modular. They were saying all arc wings will get blank as a forward dodge, and Itzel gets the arc wing version of Ripline, which for people who don't know is kind of like I think it's on Valkyr, who's basically, think of it as like a Spider-Man kind of swing type thing, like basically creates a zip line and can zip towards it. But also they wanted to show off more of the arc wings at TennoCon, but really didn't get there. They said the abilities probably are going to be redone and rescaled to fit. As they said, expect quite violent changes coming for Arcwing balance,
that's fine with me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know who's gonna be like, no, my Arcwing build. Do people have Arcwing builds? I don't know. Maybe for your gun. I'll say maybe for your gun for Fortuna, but I can't imagine that many Arcwing builds.
Yeah, it's just it's Arcwings on Fortuna you only used to get around, so it's not really I'm dependent on them for damage or anything like that. So just improving them, especially for the Arcwing missions themselves, is going to be huge.
Yep. And like I said, that was kind of pretty much it from the dev stream. They did say, I think literally today, which is Tuesday, the next dev stream 130, will be August 16th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. They did say that next Wednesday they will give details of what to expect. So, any other thoughts from the dev stream?
Nope. Seems good. Can't wait for release date to be announced.
That's gonna be glorious when we get to fly around. I've been working on a Hydroid build because if we're gonna be if I'm gonna be a space pirate on a ship, I mean, I gotta pick the pirate. I mean, but well, it's kind of. I had to use I was trying to use some of the augments because it really relies on the augments to kind of make it excel, which, funny enough, there was a dev workshop that they want to actually look at revisiting the augments. For people who don't know, augments are specific mods that go on your Warframe mod layout, and it will usually alter one of your skills and how they work. So they wanted to say that this workshop will only cover augments that they felt could improve fairly without major overhauls of the base ability as well. So kind of just quick fixes type thing. And the dev workshop is to go over the various augments they are looking at and are considered changes and are considering changes to each one. So some of the ones here are Hysterical Assault for Hysteria augment for Valkyr. And which Hysterical Assault, it's going to now do let invulnerability linger for half a second when aiming to prevent getting downed immediately in high damage areas and increase the range. So I think with Hysterical Assault, that's basically where you go into that crazy mode and you can actually leap. So it sounds like they're creating for Valkyr, kind of makes you turn into like crazy Wolverine where you're just slashing everybody up. So the leap that you can do, it sounds like they're going to increase the range on it. But if you have to switch to shoot, it's going to give you that a little bit of invulnerability, so you're not going to instantly get killed, because while you're in that state you are invulnerable. So sounds great. Sounds great for Valkyrs.
That's pretty good. I kind of don't use that skill because of that reason. I just don't.
I have a build set around it. It's just it's just so fun, just like going crazy. It's just like start snickety snick.
Yeah, it is fun, but like I like living more. So yeah.
Well, by the time by the time it runs out, everybody's dead. At least,
yeah. I mean, man,
granted, I'm not taking it into high level areas either, so that's also my problem.
Yeah.
I mean, decently high level, but I'm not running sorties or anything with it, personally.
Yeah. Probably will revisit the build because it's been a while since I played Valkyrie. Yeah.
Feels fun. But another one is Rising Storm, the Blade Storm augment for Ashe. Attacks by clones will raise the combo counter, and it includes a passive benefit to extend the combo counter by a duration. So overall, it just seems like as we're going through these, a lot of these are kind of just straight buffs. I don't think any of them seemed like they were a negative towards it.
Yeah,
which is good. These are optional, like I said, augments to your skills. But the other one's the Titanic Rumbler. So the Rumbler's augment for Atlas. Increase to damage and speed. Oh, yes. And re-triggering the power will activate the taunt as well as cause a knockdown effect. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I don't really have a build around the Titanic Rumblers just because it just wasn't that great. Okay. At least how I had it build, like it was such a short duration, it would have been pointless. But
I have an Atlas, so I can't really say. So
he's punchy. I love him. He's like One Punch Man. Like at least there's some builds like they'll just beat the crap out of things. But Oberon Hallowed Eruption or Hallowed Eruption. It's the Hallowed Ground augment for Oberon. Basically, it's adding additional passive ability that triples base duration. So, basically, it's just laying down the field what sounds like longer. So, can't complain. Just allows more dot time. I mean, pretty simple.
Yeah.
Furious Javelin, the Radial Javelin augment for Excalibur. It increases the duration and damage on the buff. So, and I think for Radial, is Radial Javelin the one that blinds everybody, or is that the one that like spears everybody? I'm trying to remember.
That's good. Radial Javelin. I think it's the one that blinds.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
I think.
Well, you...
Oh no, it's the multi-javelin one.
Okay.
Yeah.
While you check that out, or while you look that up, also Tidal Impurity, Tidal Surge for Hydroid. Basically, it increases the duration of the immunity buff. For Tidal Surge, it basically you rush as a wave through enemies and allies. The augment already will remove all the status effects on you, but also give you an immunity to status effects for maybe a second or two. So it sounds like it's just increasing that immunity buff that you have afterwards, which I was even thinking about it for my build of like, depending on, because I was trying to go for almost like a ship captain that was willing to help and protect their players. So see, I wasn't going like full all damage, but
you were.
No, I don't know. I like the support character because his other one is basically when he goes into puddle form. If allies jump into it, it gives like 30% health every second or so. So yeah, it's really nice. Or maybe every couple seconds, but so I was trying to work something like that. Like it could have been like pure like support almost.
Okay.
Especially because they're not really affected by duration or something. So you could, you don't really have to spec for it. It's locked in. But the other one, Magnetized Discharge, the Magnetized augment for Mag, basically includes a passive benefit that increases power range for this ability only. So another one, Muzzle Flash Shooting Gallery augment for Mesa, for kills made by a player, self or ally, with Shooting Gallery activated, generate a blinding AoE when threshold is met. So.
Nice. That's actually pretty fun.
Explosive Legerdman, Sleight of Hand augment for Mirage, increases damage and status chance when triggered. I'm not too familiar with Mirage, but they also do have another one for Mirage, the Total Eclipse. The Eclipse augment increases range on the buff to other players. Hey, buffs for more people is always good. Also, Piercing Roar, the Roar augment for Rhino. I know this is a nicely used one for a lot of builds, but allow Roar to be recast when equipped. Also will increase debuff duration based on equipped mods and generate a stagger effect on enemies when the Roar hits. So, looks like they're really building up like more CC a little, it seems like, for a lot of these. Or like, because I see a lot of staggering, knockdown, stuff like that. So quick little interrupts and stuff like that. So, Contagion Cloud, Toxic Lash augment for Saren, allow buff to activate when enemy is killed by damage over time effects, and general increase on range and damage. Oh, great! So the Saren becomes more powerful. Oh boy. Well, congratulations, all Saren mains that basically destroy everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say chat's liking it. Transistor shield, the electric shield augment for Volt. No additional energy drain when a shield is picked up by another player, and increased damage conversion percent. So basically, I know how electric shield works. It basically, you can shoot through it and it'll give the electricity effect to it. So it sounds like it'll do more electricity damage when you shoot through it. So
Okay.
nice.
Nice.
Target fixation tailwind augment for the Zephyr. Remove buff after 2 seconds of being on the ground instead of immediately, and damage increase per target hit. So, like I said, I'm not too familiar with Zephyr myself. Like I said, I just was crafting it, so not sure how great that is.
Oh
But
yeah, I made one too. Yeah. Zephyr Pan.
oh, I made the cheap regular Zephyr.
Oh, I have to make that one too. Wow.
And for these next ones, it seems like they've kind of given them all the same augment. So, or change form: Fireball Frenzy, which is the Fireball augment for Ember; Freeze Force, which is the Freeze augment for Frost; Smite Infusion, which is the Smite augment for Oberon; Venom Dose, which is Spore augment for Saren; and the Shock Trooper, which is the Shock augment for Volt. They said they're going to make the change for all of them of holding the casting button will send out a wave, much like similar expanding Warframe abilities, giving the elemental buff to every player it touches, including the caster. So,
Yeah. Well, what's with all the busts? Huh.
maybe we're going to need them for the new war.
So.
I know that does scare me when I see all these buffs, and I'm like, I think it might just be their idea of trying to get people to use the augments more, or like different ones, because I
That's
know a lot
true.
of like some of the bigger builds are like you might use one or two for certain frames, but I've seen some that are just like you just stick with the regular ones,
Yeah.
you don't change anything.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, like we said, this is just a dev workshop. If you want to voice your opinion on it, link will be in the description, all that stuff. But if you want to give your thoughts on it, it seems like people are really enjoying it. But also, for people that don't know, for people that are familiar with Guild Wars 2, we've talked about guild chat and stuff like that, where they kind of do behind the scenes stuff. They do kind of a similar thing. They call it DE constructing. So it looks like deconstructing. They are on episode 5, which for anybody that wants the YouTube link, and also put out the tweet that they did, which I think has like Spotify if you want to, like all the podcasting things if you want to listen to it that way. But the cast, I think every week it's usually Megan, who is the community manager, or one of the community managers. This time they had John Gogol and Shervin Gazazani, who are both technical designers. And it was kind of nice. It's, if you're familiar, like I said, if you're familiar with Guild Chat, it's kind of like behind the scenes stuff. And they were kind of talking about things like what it really takes to be a designer. It was kind of interesting. They said, like, for them, since they are technical designers, how they worded it was they were because you hear a lot of like designers and developers, like the term getting thrown around for like pretty much every position. And they were like, well, a technical one kind of is one that can also write some code as well, not just play around. They can actually go in and make some changes to the code, whereas some of the other designers they have to kind of play within the confines of what is already established there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And one of them actually referred to it as they're actually, and I kind of like it, was a spiritual producer. So, and they kind of elaborated on it, saying like, basically making sure the thing that you're working on is as good as it can be through writing, testing, taking other people's ideas in and seeing what can work and what can't. So, and they were kind of talking about some of the stuff that they were working on, that they've worked on in the past. Then they talked about Plains of Eidolon and how it was such a revolutionary thing for them, where it was, working on the first open world maps that we've seen, and where it's not just going from point A to point B, adding the bounty system. They also talked about, very little like of Railjack, where they're liking it kind of for the same reason of it's kind of working on the new cutting edge tech for their company. And I mean, what was it last week or last episode where you were basically drooling over the party link system.
Link.
Yeah. So
it's a really cool system.
Yeah, no, and like I said, when you're listening to these guys like talking about it back and forth, you just can hear, you can hear the passion and like joy that they have of creating the stuff. But and I think I've heard you and Jim talk about this maybe during after shows of our Guild Wars 2 podcast on Saturdays, conveniently, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Shameless plug. But they were saying how one of the worst things for them is looking back at their old code and how bad it used to be. Like, I'm sure you've had that experience where you like look back and you're like, what was I thinking? Like how this is organized and how it's
every day. Yeah. It's good that they can find the time to improve things when they can, because it's always really hard to do. So you always try to do the best job you can, and efficiently you can, and make it flexible for like future stuff. But if you have time to go back and fix things, then that's great, and make it better and even more flexible and sometimes you just have to go back because some new systems come in, like for example Railjack, Imperium. It's going to require like changes that will not work on the current system, so you have to go and update it. So you kind of just like go back and you improve things and you change all the bad code into better code, things like that. So
yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of positions have that kind of thing, especially when you do have something where you're basically keeping a record of something. But I'm sure like even content creators or something, you go back to your first videos, you're like, oh, what was I thinking? Or I know for me, like when I first had to start coding like research sessions and stuff, and it's like the quick hand stuff that you get to learn now, that's a little bit different than I don't think you can really do quick hand with coding because it's so definitive. Because I'm assuming if you leave things out, it could make problems.
It depends on what, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another cool thing that they talked about in the podcast was the origin of floops and how it was kind of a happy accident. They were saying during development of the conservation missions that we saw in Fortuna and they brought into Plains of Eidolon, they were noticing that while the missions were giving a lot of rep, there wasn't really no final reward. Now, they have leading up where it's like, oh, you get the new thing to go hunt the new animal and so on and so forth. But as the final thing, it's like, what can they really give out as a reward? And they were saying, like one of the guys was saying, for his 30th I believe it was his 30th birthday, his girlfriend sent him a conservation for an Arctic fox, like basically saying like, oh, we donated this for an Arctic fox. and they basically sent back a furry fox, basically a stuffed animal, and that's basically how he got the idea for it. Which I was like, wow, that's definitely crazy and out of nowhere. And they were even saying how one of the other devs kind of made all these floofs like in like literally like a day or two after hearing it. Like they loved the idea so much, and it was just such a, well, at first I think they were saying like, no, we can't do that, no one would want those or whatever, but then they all got some, I forget how they convinced, and they tried it out and it worked, and now people are raving for them. But also, if you go and watch it, do note that there are spoilers for the movie Armageddon. Yes, the 1999 to maybe turn of the 2000s disaster movie. So if you haven't watched that and you're trying to
wait, who's that starring?
Wow, why can't I think of his name? Bruce Willis. Yeah.
Why was I thinking Wilson?
You're maybe thinking of Independence Day.
Oh, Independence Day. That's it. My bad.
But also we talked about during the dev stream how they were saying they were working on a weekend event type thing that was slated to come out this past weekend. And it was the Dog Days Tactical Alert. So as you kind of see here, it's a fun little summertime beach event thing, which is hilarious because when you first log in, you get a little message in your inbox, and basically it's one of the enemy Grineer leaders that's like, oh, we're gonna send more Grineer after you and find you and destroy you, and all of a sudden her words start slurring and she starts getting a little loopy, and you discovered during the video she discovers that there's a gas leak, and they're no longer sending Grineer with rifles and stuff, but with squirt guns, and becomes basically a little pool party type thing. And it's just a fun little event, and they even came out with a little video for it. You can see it right here, but have you had a chance to try it out?
I haven't personally. So different.
Yeah, it's definitely out there. Basically, it's lasts till August 12th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Up until then, there's going to be 4 missions where you run special alerts to earn rewards. Here, do you want to read them off while I go check on those dogs real quick? I'll be right back.
Oh, there's so many puns in this video. Jeez.
Do you want to read off the rewards you get for each mission real quick?
Yeah, I'll try to find it real quick. So seems like you get well, first of all, for mission 1 you get 50k credits and a Redeemer Abysso skin. Mission 2, you get 50k credits and a Hydroid relay scene. Mission 3, you get 50 credits and a Hydroid reprise knuckle. And mission 4, you get an Orokin reactor and a Stratos emblem. So there's no mods, no pets, no abilities, just equal engagement between you and your opponents. And there's a double credit booster activated between.
Well, that just
it just ended today.
Yeah, that ended, I think, either Monday or Tuesday. So that's unfortunately already gone. But on top of those 4 missions, you can actually, when you're fighting them, it'll drop Nakak pearls. And if you go to Nakak it's on the Cetus map, which is on Earth. You can see here. You can see here some of the offerings that she has. Basically some mods and another scene, which is basically the map that you're fighting on, and another I think it's just another glyph. But I would say one of the mods is kind of nice because it is the for the two-handed melee, the hammer melee, which is Jat Kitag, I believe. Which otherwise you have to actually fight the woman that yells at you basically at the beginning of this. It's an assassination mission which has a chance to drop. So if you are trying to build out that hammer, it is a kind of a nice hammer, especially with the mod at least. It might be worth it to get it through here since it is a, I guess, easier way than dealing with the assassination mission. But also, if you don't want any of that other stuff, we were talking about it before with the floofs. They have the basically floof ball versions of like the different the beach balls that you kind of see and stuff like that, which first off, they have physics to it, so they will drop and all that stuff. Also, on your orbiter, the pets will interact with them, like the actual physical pets, not the like droid, the robots or anything. And boy howdy, have I been seeing some people make some pretty crazy things. Like someone filled one of the helminth room full of them, and when they opened it, it just poured out. Like, the only sad thing is, which maybe they'll change it later, is you cannot add the floof balls to your dojo. Like, you can't submit them to your dojo because someone had an awesome idea and was actually making a soccer field or football, if depending on where you're at, field for just to play and use those as like the soccer ball. Or but unfortunately, like I said, you cannot submit those to the dojo to. But maybe they'll make a change for that, because that would be amazing. But yeah, like I said, this will end on August 12th, so make sure to start running those. And you do get more pearls for the higher mission. It's just it's a little bit more challenging. Like, they're a little bit more accurate, and you have to watch your health. But it is pretty cool when you're running around. You can just hold in the left click. But it's like little squirting. But if you, at least, I don't know if it's mapped differently or whatnot, but if you push your middle mouse button, you actually you'll actually pump the super soaker, or I guess water gun. I guess I can't say super soaker for legal reasons, but it'll be a more powerful and do more damage to the enemy. So cool little mechanics, and you have to run over those, as they were showing it before, those little jets of water to refill your ammo. And everybody has standard health. You can't use abilities, so it is pretty even. You don't have to worry about what frame you're taking in or anything like that. So, but yeah, it's just basically after like 5 minutes, the most kills wins. But yeah, I think it's a fun little summertime event.
Yeah.
But any other thoughts on the Dog Days event?
I have many thoughts. Yeah, it's one of those events that you just don't really expect in this game. It seems kind of out of left field, but it works.
You don't expect it from the game itself, but then when you know how silly the devs are, then you're like, no, I can see that they did do this. Yeah, that definitely came from their minds. But yeah, it is kind of a random, not serious type thing. but I do like that it's better than like it's more engaging than the other holidays. It's kind of like, oh, here's an orbiter decoration or something, which like it's more engaging and I think fun. But
Yeah, I agree.
uh, I'll let you know when it's by the end and I'm having to farm all this stuff and go, oh, no more. But we were talking. Actually, I think they just announced it today. At least I saw was uh, we show off Tenogen stuff, which is stuff created by the community that Warframe takes on, and they basically the content creator that made it gets a share of it. Well, they have actually opened it up to you will now be able to create whips and chest armor. And I will put that link in chat, especially if someone is interested in making some. But also, we'll see here basically the quick checklist for melee and the chest armor. But, basically it's, like you see here, textures named properly, tested with in-game resolutions, basically just the meshes and all that stuff. So, just nice little things to keep in mind if you are one of those creative people that can make those, unlike me. But yeah, there it is for the melee, and if you're interested in the chest armor piece. But I guess my question is, what would you guys like to see, like as a whip skin or a chest armor skin? I know I kind of put you on. I don't know what I would do with a whip, but
I would kind of like want Dante's whip from Castlevania.
oh, okay.
But as for chess piece, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I can't really think what a chess piece would. I don't know. Maybe Chad has a good idea, but yeah, I'm trying to think of a chess piece that would be. For some reason, the only thing I can think of when I think of chess piece is an Iron Man chess piece, like a glowy thing in the center. But
I don't know. That's a good question.
I was gonna say they haven't really opened up shoulder pieces because I would like to see one like we were joking about the Wukong like deluxe skin where people are making like a Vegeta one. I would almost like to see like a piece that connects the shoulders and chest piece if you use them together type thing, like almost. Some people were trying to create that, but almost kind of like if you remember, like Vegeta's like weird. I don't know what they were called, but chest piece thing that had like the shoulder pieces on it, but almost something like that, or like other things like that that would connect them as a set. But I don't know. I guess they don't really do Tenogen set pieces, but I guess maybe they could potentially. I don't know.
Man. I'm trying to think of all. I can't think of chess pieces. I can only think of whips. So I can only think of like the one from Castlevania, the one from Ivy from Soul Calibur. That's all. Yeah, that's all I can really think of.
I was gonna say we already have like an infested whip. I'm trying to think of like one that would be like an in-game thing, but
a sword that's also a whip, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can.
Yeah, I was gonna say that wouldn't.
Yeah, it would have to
That'd
be
be
like
a whole new weapon.
perma. It would have to be in perma whip mode, but at least it gives you an option. Chess pieces, I'm like thinking more knight stuff because I don't really see that, I guess, but I don't know how practical that is in this game.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have like asked for knight stuff, but I guess supposedly, I don't know, people have the theories of like, I guess Warframe has always kind of shied away from that kind of thing. But I know
Yeah.
a couple have trickled through. Like, I don't know, for me, I kind of like that, the Tenogen series of, what is it, the Knights of the Lotus skin, I think it is. Like, I think that's what my Oberon is using. But I like, I think the Trinity one looks pretty good. And, there's the different ones out there. But, so, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing some Knight skin or. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, it's kind of hard to really think because we constantly, like, especially if you're an MMO player, you always think about back pieces and stuff like that. But a chest piece, it's like, how often are you looking at the front? I would say more so in this game, especially when you're doing flips and whirls. But
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Kind of at a loss of what I want for a chess piece, I guess, because when I think of chess piece, I think of like full upper
yeah,
torso type of deal, not necessarily just like the
and a lot
front
of times
stuff.
it's just over kind of the pecs
Yeah.
or.
So I'm like trying to like I can't really think of anything be kind of like practical like that unless it's like symbols, but then like you just have uh you can already do that already. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's very
this is a pretty tough question. Now that we kind of sat with it, it's like, how often. So I'm definitely curious to see what the community comes up with, especially with the chest armor.
hmm.
So I don't know. We shall see. Only time can tell. But I think that is it for this week. Is there anything you wanted to touch upon again that maybe we?
I think Imperiums might might get a release date on the next step stream, maybe. Because when was TennoCon? July,
Very beginning of July, like
very beginning of July. We're
whatever
at
that
the
first
very
weekend was. It was
beginning
like
of
the
August.
third or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna come out October, November.
Well, hopefully.
Well, maybe well, yeah. Well, if anything, they'll reveal more of Imperium slash the Arcwing stuff, maybe that they didn't get a chance to show, type of deal. I think something like that, and ideally release date, but I won't hold my breath for it. That's
Oh, that's gonna be so fun to play. But yeah, that seems like that is it for this week. So, Age, where can they find you?
you can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Titanic Road. Just currently working out a few things. Videos are on hiatus because I need to figure out new stuff to put up. And streams are kind of on hiatus. Not really. It's just like one-offs right now. But yeah, I'll get back into it eventually.
Awesome. And you find me at simply_Deo on Twitch and Twitter. And yeah, I totally understand where he's coming from with streams being on a hiatus and stuff like that. Because I know I'm trying to do a lot of this stuff behind the scenes, trying to get more shows going. Who knows what? But so yeah, while we're doing more stuff on Mad Realms, it seems like our personal channels have taken a bit of a backseat, but at least there is content from us coming out, just not on our own personal stuff. But so, if you want to see more of us here, or maybe talking about Guild Wars 2, or checking out live, twitch.tv/Mad Realms, 2 A's in the Mad. Now do remember, the next episode, since this is a bi-weekly, will be August 20th. So not next week, but the week after. And we'll get to talk all about DevStream 130. That'll be fun. And if you want to watch this, we, like I said, live on Tuesdays. We put it up on our website Wednesdays, which is madrealms.com, and then it will go up on YouTube on the following Thursday, which is youtube.com/madrealms. But yeah, if you're interested in Guild Wars 2, Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. I know tomorrow, I believe Malthanis will be playing some game. It might be Guild Wars 2, but I know he's been dabbling with League of Legends here and there and other stuff. But always fun times. Definitely come out and hang out, especially with Guild Wars 2. They're brewing for a big announcement at the end of this month, which will be hopefully fun to talk about. But yeah, that is it for this week. We'll see everybody next time. Take care.
Peace, guys.
Farewell, Tenno, until we meet again.